The massive holographic display flickered with an eerie blue light, casting long shadows across the military command center in Manchester. William Edwards, a seasoned admiral with silver-streaked hair and piercing blue eyes, stood motionless as thousands of alien warships approached Earth's outer atmosphere. The room was quiet, filled with tension that could be cut with a knife. Young technicians worked frantically at their computer stations, their fingers dancing across illuminated keyboards while massive screens displayed complex tracking systems and incoming data streams. "They're coming," William muttered under his breath, watching the alien fleet's precise geometric formation. Each spacecraft looked like a metallic predator, sleek and designed for absolute destruction. The Krelvax were known throughout the galaxy as merciless conquerors, having subdued hundreds of civilizations without mercy. Lieutenant Peter Roberts, a young officer with a nervous energy, stepped closer to the admiral. "Sir, our defense systems are fully operational. But these ships, they're unlike anything we've ever seen." William's experienced hand touched the holographic display, zooming into the massive fleet. Each ship represented decades of technological advancement far beyond human understanding. The Krelvax didn't just want territory, they wanted complete submission. Across the world, similar command centers were preparing. In London, scientists worked around the clock. In Edinburgh, military strategists calculated potential scenarios. In Berlin, technological experts developed breakthrough defense mechanisms. Humanity was no longer divided by national borders, they were united by a single, primal instinct: survival. The alien transmission suddenly erupted through the communication systems, a cold, calculated demand that sent chills down every spine in the room. The metallic voice spoke in perfect English, a calculated move to demonstrate their technological superiority. "People of Earth, your civilization has been selected for immediate integration. Resistance is mathematically improbable. Surrender is your only logical choice." William chuckled, a sound that surprised everyone in the room. It wasn't a laugh of humor, but of defiance. The aliens had made one critical miscalculation: they didn't understand human spirit. "They think numbers and technology determine victory," William explained to Peter. "But they've never encountered a species like us." Hidden research facilities around the globe were already implementing extraordinary plans. Scientists who had once competed were now collaborating. Military units from different countries were sharing intelligence. Universities were converting research labs into strategic planning centers. The Krelvax believed they were approaching a simple planetary conquest. They had precise mathematical models predicting human behavior, sophisticated algorithms calculating resistance probabilities, and technological weapons that could obliterate entire cities in seconds. What they didn't understand was the unpredictability of human creativity. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt, to innovate under pressure, to transform challenges into opportunities. In Manchester, William watched the alien fleet's approach with a calm determination. Years of military training, decades of strategic thinking, and an unbreakable belief in human potential filled his veins. The young technicians looked toward him, seeking leadership. Peter stood ready, waiting for instructions. The entire room was a microcosm of human resilience, young and old, different backgrounds, united by a single purpose. "Prepare communication protocols," William ordered. "But do not engage. We'll show them something they've never experienced before." Outside the command center, the sky began to change. The alien ships were close enough now to block sunlight, creating an artificial eclipse. Their massive forms created geometric shadows across cities, towns, and countryside. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge. Not just a battle for territory, but a fight for existence. The Krelvax thought they were bringing technological superiority. They were about to learn that human spirit was the most powerful weapon in the universe. As the first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, a collective breath was held. In command centers, research facilities, military bases, and homes around the world, people watched and waited. The invasion had begun. But this was no ordinary invasion. This was humanity's moment to prove that some species cannot be conquered. The Krelvax were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. The end as the alien fleet descended, Dr. Elizabeth Hammond stood in her London research laboratory, surrounded by complex equipment and holographic projections. Her team of international scientists worked with an intensity that crackled through the air like electricity. Professor David Miller from Edinburgh had just arrived, bringing crucial data that could change everything. Their collaboration represented humanity's most powerful weapon: collective intelligence and rapid information sharing. "They think we're primitive," Elizabeth said, pointing to the alien ship schematics. "But they don't understand how quickly humans can adapt." The laboratory was a marvel of human cooperation. Scientists who had been competitors mere weeks ago now worked together seamlessly. Mathematical models, technological designs, and strategic plans merged into a complex network of potential defense mechanisms. Outside, the City of London seemed both terrified and determined. People watched the sky, their usual routines interrupted by the massive alien ships casting shadows over streets and buildings. But there was no panic. Just a quiet, burning resolve. In universities, research centers, and hidden military facilities across the globe, similar scenes were unfolding. Mathematicians calculated communication disruption strategies. Engineers designed quantum interference technologies. Psychologists analyzed potential alien communication patterns. David pulled up a complex diagram showing the potential weaknesses in the alien communication network. "See these quantum frequencies," he explained to Elizabeth. "They have a consistent pattern, which means they can be disrupted." The alien transmission continued to broadcast its demand for surrender. But each broadcast gave humanity more information, more opportunities to understand their potential weaknesses. Young technicians worked alongside veteran scientists. Military strategists collaborated with academic researchers. National boundaries dissolved as humanity presented a united front against an external threat. Elizabeth remembered something her grandfather had told her years ago: humanity's greatest strength is not in our individual capabilities, but in our ability to work together when everything is at stake. Those words rang true now more than ever. The team discovered something extraordinary. The alien communication system, despite its advanced technology, had a fundamental flaw. It relied on a consistent quantum frequency that could be potentially manipulated. "We're not just looking to defend," David whispered. "We're preparing to fight back." Global communication networks were now fully activated. Research centers in Tokyo shared data with laboratories in New York. Military intelligence from Berlin was instantly transmitted to command centers in Sydney. The entire human network was transforming into a single, powerful organism. The Krellvax had conquered hundreds of civilizations by isolating and overwhelming individual populations. They had never encountered a species that could coordinate so quickly, so effectively. Young technicians worked with a mixture of fear and excitement. This wasn't just a scientific challenge, this was a moment that would define human history. Every calculation, every design, every strategy represented hope. Outside the laboratory, the sky grew darker as more alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Their metallic forms created geometric patterns that seemed both beautiful and terrifying. But inside the research center, something powerful was happening. Humanity was transforming its fear into creativity, its uncertainty into innovation. Elizabeth looked at David, a smile breaking through her professional demeanor. "They have no idea what's coming," she said quietly. The alien fleet continued its approach, believing their victory was mathematically certain. They were about to learn that mathematics cannot calculate human spirit, human creativity, human determination. Humanity was preparing its most unexpected weapon, not a physical technology, but something far more powerful. Collective intelligence and an unbreakable will to survive. As the first alien ships began their descent, research centers around the world hummed with energy, hope, and an unspoken promise. "We are not alone. We are together." The E&D in a small research facility near Birmingham, Michael Thompson stood before a complex array of computer screens, his team watching with breathless anticipation. The room buzzed with an electric energy of potential discovery. "We've found something," Michael announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The team leaned forward, their eyes reflecting the shifting data patterns. The breakthrough wasn't about creating a bigger weapon. It was about understanding the alien communication network, its vulnerabilities, its hidden weaknesses. Each data point revealed another layer of potential disruption. Outside, the sky grew darker with approaching alien ships. Their massive forms blocked sunlight, creating artificial shadows across the British countryside. But inside the research facility, hope was brewing. Young technicians worked alongside veteran scientists. Each person brought a unique perspective, a different approach to solving the impossible problem. Sarah, a brilliant mathematician, compared alien communication signals to complex musical patterns. Robert, a quantum physics expert, saw them as intricate mathematical equations waiting to be decoded. Their entire network relies on a consistent quantum frequency, Michael explained. Which means it can be disrupted. The implications were extraordinary. If they could interrupt the alien communication system, they could potentially disable entire sections of the invasion fleet. Not through brute force, but through intelligent manipulation. Military bases around the world were now receiving their preliminary reports. From the plains of Africa to the technology hubs of Asia, humanity was preparing its most sophisticated defense network. Michael remembered his grandfather's stories about human resilience during past global challenges. How humanity always found a way to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. Those stories now felt more relevant than ever. The team worked with a mixture of scientific precision and passionate determination. Each calculation, each discovered signal pattern represented hope. They weren't just defending Earth, they were protecting everything they loved. Families. Homes. Future generations. The entire human civilization was at stake. Outside, military personnel prepared defensive positions. Soldiers trained with renewed intensity, knowing that scientific breakthroughs could be as powerful as any weapon. The entire planet was transforming into a unified defense mechanism. We can create a quantum disruption signal, Sarah explained, her fingers moving across complex holographic models. Something that will essentially blind their communication networks. The alien ships continued their approach, believing their technological superiority guaranteed victory. They had no concept of human creativity, human adaptability. Michael looked at his team. Young and old, from different backgrounds, united by a single purpose. This wasn't just a scientific challenge. This was humanity's moment to prove its worth in the galactic community. The research facility became a beacon of hope. Every discovered signal pattern, every decoded communication frequency represented a potential weapon against the invasion. Quantum physicists worked alongside computer engineers. Mathematicians collaborated with communication experts. National boundaries disappeared as humanity presented a united front. They think technology is power, Michael told his team. But they've never understood that human spirit is the most powerful technology of all. The alien transmission continued to broadcast its demand for surrender. But each broadcast gave humanity more information, more opportunities to understand and potentially defeat their technological systems. As the first alien ships entered Earth's lower atmosphere, the research team in Birmingham prepared their most sophisticated defense yet. A signal that could potentially disrupt entire communication networks, rendering the invasion fleet vulnerable. The Krelvacs believed they were bringing technological superiority. They were about to learn that innovation, cooperation, and determination were far more powerful than any advanced weaponry. Humanity was ready. Not just to defend, but to fight back. The technological breakthrough was complete. And with it, a message to the universe: don't mess with Earth. The world had changed overnight. Nations that once argued and competed now stood united, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. Admiral William Edwards watched the global communication screens, witnessing something unprecedented in human history. From the bustling cities of Europe to the remote villages of Africa, from the technological hubs of Asia to the research centers of the Americas, humanity transformed. Resources were pooled, knowledge shared, a collective spirit emerging stronger than ever before. In London, government leaders from different continents gathered in an emergency summit. Countries that had been diplomatic rivals just weeks ago now shared intelligence, technology, and strategic plans. The United Nations headquarters became a global command center, coordinating a planetary defense strategy. "We are no longer separate nations," the United Nations Secretary declared. "We are one human race." Military bases around the world began implementing a coordinated defense plan. Soldiers from different countries trained together, sharing tactics and technologies. The usual barriers of language and culture dissolved in the face of survival. In Berlin, German engineers worked alongside Japanese technology experts. In Moscow, Russian military strategists collaborated with American defense specialists. In Beijing, Chinese researchers shared quantum communication research with teams in New Delhi. The alien fleet continued its approach, their massive ships casting long shadows across continents. But humanity was no longer looking up in fear. They were preparing, united and determined. Young soldiers trained with an intensity never seen before. They understood this wasn't just a military conflict, this was a fight for human existence. Every training exercise, every strategic meeting carried the weight of planetary survival. Admiral Edwards coordinated with military leaders across the globe. Communication networks that were once secure and isolated now operated as a single, integrated system. Satellite networks, communication channels, and defense systems merged into one powerful planetary network. "Our strength is not in our individual capabilities," William told his international team. "Our strength is in how we work together." Research facilities became nerve centers of human innovation. Scientists who had been competitors now worked as a unified team. Mathematical models, technological designs, and strategic plans merged into a complex network of potential defense mechanisms. The quantum disruption signals developed in Birmingham were now being refined by research teams around the world. Each country contributed its unique technological expertise, creating a defense system more sophisticated than anything the aliens could have anticipated. In small towns and big cities, people prepared differently. Community centers became emergency support networks. Schools transformed into training and communication hubs. Ordinary citizens became part of an extraordinary global response. Young people showed remarkable resilience. Instead of panic, they demonstrated a calm determination. Social media platforms became channels of global communication, sharing hope, strategies, and support across continents. The alien transmission continued to demand surrender. But with each broadcast, humanity learned more. Each signal provided more information about their potential weaknesses. Agricultural systems were rapidly adapted to ensure food security. Medical facilities prepared for potential emergency scenarios. Transportation networks were reconfigured to support potential military and humanitarian needs. Admiral Edwards looked at the global communication screen. What he saw was not just a defense strategy. It was a testament to human potential. A demonstration that when faced with an impossible challenge, humanity could unite, innovate, and overcome. The alien fleet drew closer, their technological superiority seemingly unmatched. But they hadn't calculated the most unpredictable factor: human spirit. As the first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the planet was ready. Not just with weapons and technology, but with something far more powerful: a united human resolve. The global response was complete. Humanity stood together, facing the greatest challenge in its history. The invasion was about to begin. And Earth was ready. The first alien ships pierced Earth's atmosphere, their metallic bodies gleaming with technological precision. But something was different from their previous conquests. This planet would not surrender quietly. Admiral William Edwards stood in the Global Command Center, his weathered hands steady on the communication console. Thousands of screens displayed coordinated defense strategies from every continent. This wasn't just a military response, this was humanity's collective heartbeat. The quantum disruption signals developed by researchers in Birmingham activated simultaneously across the planet. Developed through weeks of intense collaboration, these signals targeted the precise communication frequencies of the alien fleet. Suddenly, chaos erupted in the alien command systems. Their perfectly synchronized ships began to malfunction. Navigation systems failed. Communication networks collapsed. The Krulvax had never encountered such a sophisticated global defense. In London, scientists cheered as their theoretical calculations transformed into real-world defense. In Tokyo, military strategists watched their collaborative plans unfold perfectly. From New York to Sydney, humanity demonstrated an unprecedented level of coordination. The alien ships started to drift, their advanced technology suddenly vulnerable. Some began to lose altitude, while others spun uncontrollably. The invaders' mathematical certainty of victory was crumbling. They underestimated us, William whispered to his team. They saw technology as power. But they didn't understand human creativity. Across military bases, soldiers prepared secondary defense protocols. But they weren't just preparing for battle, they were protecting everything they loved. Families. Homes. Future generations. The entire human civilization. Young technicians worked with veteran scientists, their fingers dancing across complex communication systems. Each disruption signal represented years of human innovation, collective intelligence, and an unbreakable spirit. The alien transmission, once confident and demanding, became fragmented and confused. Their perfect geometric formations dissolved into random, panicked movements. Sarah, the brilliant mathematician who had first decoded the alien communication patterns, watched the screens with a mixture of scientific excitement and human pride. "We didn't just defend," she told her colleagues. "We demonstrated our potential." Military units from different countries coordinated their responses. German precision worked alongside American strategic thinking. Russian technological expertise merged with Japanese innovative design. Humanity was no longer divided by borders, they were united by survival. More alien ships began to fall. Not through massive weapons, but through intelligent, coordinated disruption. Each falling ship represented a victory of human collaboration, creativity, and determination. The Krulvax had conquered hundreds of civilizations. They had believed their technological superiority guaranteed victory. They were about to learn that mathematics cannot calculate human spirit. In small towns and big cities, people watched the sky. Fear had transformed into hope. Uncertainty had become determination. Ordinary citizens became extraordinary defenders of their planet. Admiral Edwards watched the global communication screens. What was happening wasn't just a defense against invasion. It was a message to the universe: humanity would not be conquered. The first wave of alien ships was now completely disabled. Their advanced technology rendered useless by human innovation. The invasion that seemed mathematically certain was now falling apart. "We are not alone," William told his international team. "We are together." As the last alien ships lost power and began to fall, a collective cheer rose across the planet. Not a cheer of violence, but a cheer of survival. A cheer of hope. A cheer that said, "Earth is our home, and we will defend it." The invasion was over. Humanity had not just survived, they had transformed. The Krulvax would become a legend, a story told across the galaxy. A story of a species that discovered the true meaning of resilience. A story of Earth's defiance. The end.